It's Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, Novo Nordisk teams up with OpenAI to transform drug discovery. NVIDIA launches the world's first open-source AI models for quantum computing. And Goldman Sachs warns data center power demand will surge 220% by the end of the decade. Let's get into it.
Novo Nordisk announced a strategic partnership with OpenAI on Monday, aiming to deploy artificial intelligence across its entire business, from drug discovery to manufacturing and commercial operations. The Danish pharmaceutical giant, best known for its blockbuster obesity and diabetes treatments, says pilot programs will launch immediately with full integration expected by the end of 2026. OpenAI will also help upskill Novo Nordisk's global workforce. CEO Mike Dowstar emphasized the initiative is about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing jobs. The partnership includes strict data governance and human oversight provisions. Novo Nordisk joins a growing list of major pharma companies, betting that AI can shorten the long, expensive journey from lab bench to patient bedside.
Turning now to quantum computing.
NVIDIA used World Quantum Day on Monday to unveil Ising, the first family of open-source AI models designed specifically for quantum computing workloads. The suite includes two components: Ising calibration, which automates quantum processor tuning, and Ising decoding, which accelerates quantum error correction. NVIDIA says Ising decoding delivers up to 2.5 times faster performance and 3 times higher accuracy compared to current industry standards. The models are released under permissive licensing and are already in use at Harvard, Cornell, IQM Quantum Computers, and Sandia National Laboratories. They are freely available on GitHub, Hugging Face, and NVIDIA's own platform. The release signals NVIDIA's deepening commitment to bridging classical AI and quantum computing.
Now to energy infrastructure.
Goldman Sachs released an updated forecast on Monday, projecting that global data center power demand will surge 220% from 2023 levels by the end of the decade, pushing total consumption to a record 1,350 terawatt-hours by 2030. The bank says data center occupancy rates could peak above 95% in late 2026 before easing as new facilities come online. Power density per square foot is expected to climb from 162 kilowatts to 176 kilowatts by 2027. Goldman estimates roughly 122 gigawatts of data center capacity will be online by decade's end. The forecast underscores how AI is transforming from a software story into a full-stack race for power and physical infrastructure.
And staying with power.
America's investor-owned utilities are gearing up for a historic spending cycle. A new report released Monday shows utility companies plan to spend at least $1.4 trillion over the next 5 years, up 27% from $1.1 trillion just a year ago. The surge is driven largely by mushrooming electricity demand from AI data centers, along with aging infrastructure, extreme weather resilience, and growing electrification. Transmission and distribution accounts for nearly half of planned spending, with another 30% directed at new power generation. Consumer advocates warn the build-out could keep pushing electricity bills higher. Residential rates have already spiked roughly 40% since 2021, and customers could end up shouldering nearly half of the planned capital spending.
Next, the state of AI research.
Stanford University released its 2026 AI Index report, and the numbers tell a story of breathtaking capability alongside deepening public unease. On the performance side, AI models scored nearly 100% on a benchmark requiring them to resolve real GitHub software issues, up from 60% just a year earlier. China has nearly closed the gap with the United States, with the performance lead of top American models narrowing from over 9% to under 2%. Organizational adoption reached 88% globally, and generative AI hit 53% population adoption within 3 years, faster than the personal computer or the internet. But trust is eroding. Only 33% of Americans expect AI to improve their jobs, and U.S. public trust in government AI regulation sits at just 31%.
From research to regulation.
A growing clash is emerging between federal ambitions for AI infrastructure and state-level resistance. A report published Monday by Multistate reveals that 27 U.S. states are now considering legislation targeting data centers, with requirements ranging from higher utility rates to mandatory water use reporting and renewable energy standards. The tension stems from a gap in scope. Federal rules apply only to facilities above 100 megawatts, while state proposals target data centers as small as 10 megawatts. California, Ohio, and Utah have already enacted comparable legislation. The push comes even as the White House signed a ratepayer protection pledge in March with major data center developers, committing them to cover the full cost of new energy infrastructure needed to meet their power demands.
Moving to chip innovation in Asia.
South Korean AI chip startup DeepX announced an expanded partnership with Hyundai Motor Group on Tuesday to develop a computing platform for generative AI robots using its second generation of low-power chips. DeepX, founded by a former Apple chip designer, positions its mass-produced DX M1 chip as a cost-efficient alternative to NVIDIA for on-device workloads. The company has secured over 30 clients, including China's Baidu, and is targeting $40 million in revenue this year. DeepX is also preparing for an IPO on the Korean Stock Exchange after completing a funding round expected to raise more than $400 million. CFO Young Cho told reporters a secondary U.S. listing through American depository receipts could be considered later.
From hardware to media.
MIT Technology Review announced Monday that it is launching a new annual list called 10 Things That Matter in AI. Right now, set to be published on April 21st and unveiled on stage at the MTech AI conference on MIT's campus. Among the technologies that made the final list are AI companions, mechanistic interpretability, generative coding, and hyperscale data centers. The publication says the list is designed to cut through hype and identify the developments that will actually shape the AI landscape in the near term. The announcement comes as the AI industry enters what many observers describe as a phase of consolidation, where the optimism of early 2026 is being tested against the reality of first operational results.
Now to the markets.
The carnage in enterprise software stocks continued Monday, with Monday.com caught up in a broader sell-off that has wiped out half the company's value in 2026 alone. The project management platform now trades more than 80% below its 52-week high. The latest wave of selling was fueled by mounting fears that AI-driven seat compression will undercut traditional per-seat subscription pricing. A UBS downgrade of ServiceNow earlier this month rattled the entire sector, with analysts warning that autonomous AI agents could reduce the number of human users enterprises need for software platforms. Monday.com is among the hardest-hit names in what Wall Street is calling the SaaS-pocalypse, a repricing of software companies whose business models may be disrupted by AI automation.
Turning to cybersecurity.
A new analysis from Fortune published Monday highlights the growing urgency around Anthropic's Claude Mythos model and its cybersecurity implications. Since Anthropic launched Project Glasswing earlier this month, a consortium including Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Google, the company says Mythos has identified thousands of high-severity zero-day vulnerabilities across every major operating system and web browser. Among the discoveries is a 27-year-old flaw in OpenBSD and a 17-year-old remote code execution bug in FreeBSD that grants full root access. Over 99% of the vulnerabilities found remain unpatched. Security experts warn of a potential vulnpocalypse, where AI tools designed to find flaws could be weaponized by attackers faster than defenders can respond.
Next, OpenAI's valuation.
OpenAI's $852 billion valuation is drawing fresh scrutiny from investors. The company closed a record-breaking $122 billion funding round in late March, but a report published Monday raises questions about execution risks, capital burn, and long-term sustainability. CEO Sam Altman is overseeing a strategic pivot that competitors, particularly Anthropic, are already challenging with faster model releases. OpenAI has crossed $25 billion in annualized revenue and is eyeing a potential IPO as early as the fourth quarter of 2026 at a $1 trillion valuation. CFO Sarah Fryer recently confirmed that OpenAI will reserve a portion of IPO shares for retail investors after the retail component of its latest funding round was oversubscribed by 300%.
And finally, the semiconductor market.
A new market report released Monday projects the AI data center graphics processing unit market will nearly triple in size over the next 5 years, rising from $11.12 billion in 2025 to $32.3 billion by 2030. That represents a compound annual growth rate of nearly 24%. The report highlights surging demand for high-performance computing chips driven by AI training and inference workloads. Meanwhile, the green AI data center market is expected to grow from $77 billion to over $111 billion in the same period. The projections underscore the massive hardware build-out underway as companies race to secure the physical infrastructure needed to power the next generation of AI systems.
That's your briefing for Wednesday, April 15th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.